Hi everyone, Greg here. So I just got home from work and I wanted to take a second to make just a quick one-take video. Maybe we'll call it weekly one-takes, I don't know. Um, but I just wanted to talk about something that I've sort of been running into and taking note of, particularly as wedding season has really opened up and as the world has opened up in general. And that is four things just to make sure you're thinking about if you are planning on hiring a wedding band, a full-blown band for your wedding. And so these are four things. These are just things to keep in mind. They aren't make or break, but again, you want to make sure you know what you're getting into. So first thing, understand that bands take up space. A wedding band, even if it's just like a 5-person band, I mean, they have a drum set, they have guitars, sometimes they have amps, they have speakers. You want to make sure that the speakers are slightly in front of the band so that you don't have as many feedback issues. If you're going upwards of a 7-piece, 9-piece, 10-piece band, which I mean I work with, they're not that uncommon, just understand that they take up room. And if your dance floor is really small, take that into account. Either, move the dance floor in a way that they can set up behind it. Try to angle the dance floor in a way that maybe if it's not a perfect square, maybe they're setting up on the deep side of it. Bands take up space. A drum set is 5 feet in either direction. Keyboard is 4 feet long and then will probably be 4 feet deep with the person standing there as well. You can cram people in, but if they're in there super, super, super tight, it is going to kind of kill their ability to dance around and create that energy. So first thing, make sure you know that wedding bands take up space. 10 people with instruments is a lot of people. Second thing, make sure that if you're planning on hiring a band that there is power nearby. If you're planning on trying to get a band on the cheaper end, they're not going to be able to supply their own generator. And if you want them to, it's going to cost you a ton of extra money. So make sure there's power nearby. Talk to your event planner, talk to your wedding planner about making sure that there's power within, I would say, within 100 feet of wherever the stage is going to be. I always have 300 feet of extension cord in my car, but it's tough when you show up to a situation where you don't want cables running all over the place and there's not power nearby. So first thing, amount of space. Second thing, power considerations. Third thing, know the room that you're in or know what you are planning on for a venue and just know how that's going to affect the sound. This isn't a thing that most people would know, but that's why I'm here. So if you're under a wedding tent, they tend to be really, really washy in the high end, meaning that when you hit a cymbal, that high end is going to bounce around and make it kind of hard for you to hear sibilants, like when people say S's and Z's and anything that has that crispiness to it. Cymbals are going to sort of overpower a lot of that, but the low end, like the bass frequencies, the subwoofers and stuff, that just goes right through the tent and leaves. So if you're having a full dance band and there are especially like horns and drums, things like that, just know that when the dance set is going on, it's going to be kind of hard to hear the intelligibility of people's voices. On the other hand, if you're in a big boomy room, like say you're in an old church, or say you're just in a big marble function room with no rugs or anything, having a band inside in a big echoey room is going to create a lot of bounce around the room. There's going to be a lot of reverb. It might be kind of hard to hear just because the room will be so loud and there will be so much sound bouncing around. So keep that in consideration. Again, doesn't mean it's not going to work, doesn't mean they won't sound great, but if you're like, oh, well, people over there will dance and then people over here can talk, that might end up being kind of difficult if you're in a tent that's small and the band is right next to you, especially with a drummer, or if you're in a big boomy room. If you're in like a function room that has a carpet or a bunch of furniture all over the place, it can help. But again, just know that having any sort of containment of the sound is going to make it a little harder to hear. Doesn't mean you can't do it. Bands play in these places all the time. It's just something to keep in mind. Third thing, sort of along the same lines, understand that especially drums are acoustic instruments. Trumpets are acoustic instruments. They make noise. You can have a drummer, and it can be the most tasteful drummer you've ever heard. If you're right next to that drum set and you're trying to talk, it's going to be kind of hard. So if you are doing, for instance, a dinner set, and you want people to just be able to chat, you have the first dance, father-daughter dance, all that stuff, and then you go into the dinner set. Understand that if you want a full-blown band during that, even if they're playing at their quietest, within 10 feet of the dance floor, it's still going to be pretty loud. So I would maybe request brushes, in which case you're probably getting jazz. So don't request brushes and then ask for top 40. It's not really going to work that well. Ask for brushes. Ask for a stripped down instrumentation maybe. So if you're doing jazz, or maybe if you're doing an acoustic set, just say acoustic guitar, piano, vocals, or just piano vocals, just guitar vocals. You could ask for, if the drummer just has percussion, or maybe a stripped down like a cajon kit or something. Again, ask in advance. Don't just expect it to be quiet enough, because even the most tasteful drummer, if they didn't know they were supposed to bring brushes and they just brought sticks, there's only so much you can do. So again, 1, amount of space that you need. 2, just know the room, know the environment. 3 was power. I may have gotten those mixed up, I don't remember. And 4 is, again, just understand that instruments are acoustic. When you're playing drums, you are hitting hollow barrels. So again, just potentially request a smaller setup for dinner. See if you can just do dinner music and then save the band for the actual dance part of it. But again, just know what you're getting yourself into. Wedding bands, I mean, I love working with wedding bands. That's what a lot of my sound gigs are. But just know what you're getting into so that you don't end up frustrated or disappointed on the night of, being like, oh, well, they need to turn down. It's like, in some cases you can't. Or in some cases you can turn down as much as you want, but then you won't hear the speakers over the drums. Keep those things in mind. I hope this was helpful. Let me know if you want more of these just short, unedited snippets of video, just talking about some things. I hope you all have a fantastic day. Hopefully this wasn't too long and rambly. Thank you for stopping by, and I will see you next time.